Welcome back to the beautiful Gaddafi Stadium here. It's been so pleasant. We've had some pleasant evenings for cricket, and it's the Bank Alfala presents Vigotel Mobile T20 Series. We're here for the third and the final T20 International. This is how things have gone so far in the series. The first T20 International won by Pakistan by 22 runs, and yesterday was a very convincing clinical win for Pakistan because they won by a big margin and, more importantly, managed to seal the series against Australia after 7 years. Pakistan winning the series after 7 years definitely augurs well ahead of the T20 World Cup, but they'd be looking for a whitewash. That's what they're looking at. Perhaps trying different combinations as well, because this is the last real opportunity before the World Cup. Australia, well, they've got a lot of things that they perhaps need to look at and find solutions before we enter that World Cup. With me, I've got Ramiz Raja and Simon Carrish to talk about this particular game. Ramiz, a great win for Pakistan overall. They've won the series, but this is the third and the final T20 International. Would you like to see something from them in terms of combination, or what would you say? How should they approach this final T20 International? It is a dead rubber, but still.
Nothing is a dead rubber, and especially against Australia. I mean, more of the same, I would say. I mean, they were flawless. The energy was there, fearless approach, challenged by the captain himself. And then overall, you know, the variations with spin. I mean, thank God for this subcontinent unorthodoxy. I mean, it's so wonderful to watch the mystery spin. And then somebody like Usman Tariq, I don't know what was the fuss about his bowling action. I think he comes out as someone who can be destructive, legally destructive during the World Cup. So I'm really pinning my hopes on him coming through. But overall, I think the middle order also did a reasonably good job. Usman Khan got a 50, and then Saim Ayub looks to be in good shape. So not a lot to do for Pakistan.
All right, and that's always a good sign when you say there's not a lot to do for Pakistan. Still a lot to do for Australia though, Kat, because their batting has really not been up to the mark so far. You're looking at that squad and the kind of options that Australia has available. There's such talented players there. Some have done really well in the BBL. Any particular link or player that you feel is perhaps missing, or Australia could have considered going into the T20 World Cup?
You're spot on. I think there's one man who a lot of people back home in Australia are questioning why he's not here at the moment, and that man's Steve Smith. Unbelievable BBL. I was at this SCG when he scored 100 off just 42 balls. He's in career best form. And it is a bit of a surprise that he's not in the mix, because he's got so much experience in these conditions, and it would be a great opportunity for him to be involved, but particularly with a lot of these younger players learning their craft in these conditions for the first time. That's the thing that stood out the most. A number of the young batters have been exposed to high quality spin, so great learning experience for them. But a T20 World Cup for Australia is all about winning the trophy, so it's not about experiences, it's about winning, and they've got some concerns moving forward.
A lot of the times the focus is a lot on power hitting, Ramiz, but you see conventional batting and conventional batters like Steve Smith. I mean, how important is their role in the modern day T20 cricket?
Well, I mean, he could do a Williamson for Australia. Williamson is there. He's not your typical white ball cricketer, but the circumstances make him into a, into a kind of a must-in the dugout. And I'm sure that Steve Smith could be the same. Yeah, it's about placement. It's not always about big hit. Look at what is happening to Babar Azam. Babar Azam seems to have lost the plot completely. All he's trying to do is to hit the ball out of the ground every ball that he faces. It's about timing, placement. Somebody like Salman Ali Agha could be a real go-to hero for Babar Azam right now.
You spoke about go-to hero in the form of Salman Ali Agha. How good was he yesterday? When
flawless.
You talk about his innings, how impressed were you?
Incredible, actually. I mean, it was so good to watch, because there's nothing T20ish about this knock. It was clinical, it was methodical, it was, at times he reined himself in, the singles, and just the beauty of the angles that he chose to hit the ball along the ground, out of the ground, and at will. It's just superb display of all angles batsmanship.
I love the leadership he's shown just with his actions. He's walked out there yesterday, very first ball, straight over mid-off for 4, set the tone, so he doesn't have to say anything to his group. They just have to watch him go about his business. what I've been impressed with is they're playing a modern style of T20 cricket, Pakistan, but they're doing it in a really measured and calculated fashion. Usman Khan was outstanding. He's a bright young talent. And Shadab Khan, he showed his usefulness in that middle order role as well. So I think, and then he bowled beautifully with 3 wickets. So I think Pakistan have got pretty much all bases covered at the moment.
Absolutely. They've also been lucky with winning all the tosses so far in this T20 International Series, and they've been opting to bat first. So it should be interesting what they do if they do go on to win today. Let's find out. It's over to Rouge Mumtaz and Bazid Khan with the pitch report later on.
One final time in the series, a third of one of the three T20 matches between Pakistan and Australia. Final game before both teams head into the T20 World Cup. All important personnel present for the toss: Salman Ali Agha, Mitch Marsh and Ali Naqvi to oversee proceedings. Salman, you got the coin?
Heads.
3 out of 3 on the toss. What are you going to do?
We're going to bat first.
Batting approach, it must give you a lot of comfort in terms of being in a good headspace in the way Pakistan seem to be batting. There's definitely a better positive intent.
Yeah, because of the pitches, like it gets slowed down after 10 hours, so we have to go hard on the power play to make sure we enough runs, because it gets difficult. So that's why we are doing this approach.
And to obviously counter that, you've got the spinners. I think 1 of 6, all of them doing well. How much comfort does that give you, even if the opposition sometimes can outscore you?
Yeah, it's a 1+. We have 5 spinners. But for me, it's very hard to bowl every single of one in 20 hours. But yeah, on the other side, yeah, it's a luxury for me to have 5 world-class spinners, and I'm very happy with that.
From a preparation point of view, the T20 World Cup, just a few days around, how good has this preparation been? You think you've checked all boxes?
Yeah, pretty much. I think we have ticked most of the boxes, and yeah, we just want to continue and play good cricket the way we are doing it from last 6 months now. So we just want to keep chipping every single game. Any
changes for this final game?
We've got 3 changes. Fakhar, Nafe and Shaheen is back. Both Usman and Safdar is not playing.
All right then, Salman, go well.
Go well, mate.
Mitch on the receiving end of the toss again. What are you looking to restrict them at, considering you're back on pitch number 1?
Hopefully a chaseable total. We've got to look at the conditions over the last few games, and hopefully we can respond today.
You talk about conditions and obviously maybe overcoming the spinners. What have the conversations been like, considering also come the World Cup there'll be a lot of spin on offer?
Yeah, there certainly will be. Obviously, any time you are in these circumstances, there's always lessons to come out of it. Keep our intent, and it's an important game for us to hopefully finish this series with a win.
All right, then, important game. What is the 11 then?
There's 4 changes.
Remember them?
But I'm not going to, no, I never do.
Brilliant, go well, have a good game.
Thank you.
All right, then the news from the centre is that the Pakistan captain Salman Ali Agha has won the toss and once again will have a bat. Now then, batting is the choice, or the sort of the flavour of the season, if I may call it. All 3 times Pakistan captain has won the toss. Back on pitch, the one that featured the first game, and I've got pitch doctor, role reversals. Bazid Khan didn't like my pitch report yesterday, so he's going to do one himself. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, yours was too long.
Sorry.
It's the same sort of surface. Obviously, it's a used surface, so there'll be a little more spin on it. The base won't be there. It won't really skip onto the bat. And it is surprising. Curator's done a massive job. I think to be able to produce dry pitches in this weather is something that you need to applaud. I think these are the pitches that Pakistan wanted. Now, the interesting fact, we talked about this yesterday, is the pace that you bowl at. And Pakistan are much slower than the Australian spinners. And because of that slowness, they've got more out of the surface. Now, it is, again, a challenge to construct runs once you're not used to pitches which don't come on. I don't think the spin is the problem. I don't think the turn is the problem. It's actually the pace of the surface that Australia are struggling with.
Buzz, put you on the spot. You always talk about the slower nature of the surface. What can Australia look at doing in terms of counteracting that spin, in terms of getting runs on the board without losing too many wickets?
I think it's not a surface where you can use the pace. So ramp shots and trying to play behind the wicket is quite difficult. What you can do is try and get at the ball. So once you bowl it slowly, then you've got the opportunity to actually run down the wicket. I think the use of feet, that has been lacking. We've seen that they've been stuck at the crease and try to maybe use the pace which is not there. So maybe one thing that they can do is actually run at the bowling, because Pakistani bowlers are giving you that chance.
Right then, once again, fair to say the spin will play its part.
spin has been playing its role in this T20 international series. Pakistan's done really well. Their spinners, Ramiz, in the last 1 year or so, their record speaks for itself. It's just good to see that they've collectively, as a unit, performed.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety, there's a lot of class, and body language has improved also because they know that they're going to play almost every match or every other match. So there's been a lot of consistency, and we've been harping on the fact that unless there is, a select group of about 20, 22 players, then you can revolve around your thinking strategy around them. But, to have played about 40 players in a year was just a little too much. I think right now they've got a good group of spinners. They're different, left arm, mystery. Abrar has been absolutely terrific. So they're in a very good shape.
What about the spin options for Australia in terms of, relative to what the other teams have? I mean, how do you see them? Because, everyone is expecting spin to play a role in the World Cup.
Yeah, the difference we've seen is that there's only really the experience of Adam Zampa that has that mystery with being able to go both ways. Young Kuhneman's a good young spinner. He's coming off good form for the Heat in the BBL, but he's still very inexperienced in these conditions, particularly in white ball cricket. And then young Connolly's more of a batting all-rounder whose spin has really developed rapidly in the last sort of 6 months. But, he performed quite well the other night, got a good wicket of getting Ayub out. But those two are different types of spinners to what we're seeing from Pakistan because they don't have the element of mystery. And that is a big difference in these conditions. Batters can line you up when you're only spinning the ball one way, and they are still learning their craft in these conditions.
All right, couple of changes for both these sides. They're trying, like I said, this was expected that they'll try different players and different combinations and see what works for them the best. Pakistan has made 3 changes, Ramiz.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who they are.
Khwaja Nafi comes
is in, so he's pretty exciting to watch. Bit of a basher, keeper as well. Fakhar Zaman is in as well, so he's been given another go at it. Sabzada Farhan has been benched, so that's interesting. And then in Australia, then over to you then.
Yeah, well, big news today is that Travis Head's not playing, so it gives Matt Short another chance at the top of the order. I think the middle order has stayed reasonably consistent. Cameron Green's probably been Australia's best performer so far. Matt Renshaw gets another opportunity. Stoinis comes in. Philippi gets another opportunity with Inglis going out. So does young Mitch Owen at number 7. Cooper Connolly gets an opportunity, but further down the order. Dwarshuis comes in. Kuhneman gets another chance, and obviously Adam Zampa's been the standout performer with the ball for Australia so far.
Absolutely. Australia will be looking for some support that Adam Zampa can get today. We're going to take a short break here on pitch side. Pakistan has won the toss yet again, and they've decided to bat first. Pakistan batting first today as well. Then lots been talked about just generally how Australia has struggled against spinners. Why have they struggled? What has been the main problem? Let's find out from Arooj Mumtaz and Simon Carriage, who spoke earlier about what is the best way to tackle spin.
It was a masterclass on playing spin, and it was provided by Salman Ali Agha, Pakistan captain, somebody who did it extremely well in his time against Murli, Anil and Sakle and Mushtaq. Simon Carriage in the subcontinent. Salman Ali Agha playing spin was truly exceptional last night.
Thanks, Arooj. I think the quality of footwork was on display yesterday from Salman Ali Agha, and we could see it in the footage. Using his feet, being prepared to get out of his crease and hit inside out over cover or straight back down the ground. And even the slog sweep was employed a number of times. Conventional sweep out to square leg, deep backward square leg, and the inside out shot over extra cover. That was the highlight for me, because in these conditions here where the ball's holding and spinning, that's the challenge. If you come too far off the line of the ball, you expose yourself to be able to not transfer enough power through the ball and then chip one up to deep point or deep mid off, depending on the line of the ball. So it was outstanding work from Salman, and yeah, great to watch.
Right, you've got bat in hand. We obviously touched on using your feet or staying deep in the crease or the sweeps. Young boys and girls watching, what are you looking to do? Can you just put up a few demonstrations for us?
So in my game, I wanted to use my feet because I practiced it. And the reason was because when you're facing quality of like a Murali or Harbhajan or whoever it was, you knew they were going to be in that sort of 4 to 6 metre zone a lot of the time. So to be able to nullify that length You have to try and get down to the line of the ball as far as you can. And if you're trying to go aerial, you don't quite get to the pitch of the ball. But if you are trying to keep the ball on the ground, then it was the line of the ball that you're trying to get to, because the danger is if you run down too far leg side of the ball and you go too early and then they see it and throw it wider, which we saw yesterday from, I think it was against Usman Khan. He ran down really quickly, went too far leg side of the ball, and I think it was Kuhneman or Connolly, one of the two, threw it wider and nearly exposed him getting stumped. So that's probably the key point. When you are going to come down, one, you've got to practice it and be comfortable doing it, and then two, you've got to make sure that you are coming down to a line of the ball to be able to access the pocket that you want to, whether it's over extra cover, whether it's straight back at the side screen, or whether you want to access to free your hands to pick it up and go over deep mid-wicket like that. So that's that element of that.
So that's down the ground. What are you looking to do, either playing the sweep or staying back in your crease to access the leg side, or even the reverses these days?
So if you want to talk about the sweep shot, I guess the modern player wants to use both because he wants to manipulate the field. And we saw that with Renshaw. There was a mid-wicket in for him. He wanted to get rid of that fielder so he can bunt in there for one or two. And so then he plays the reverse to get another fielder behind point. But I think, you know, when you're sweeping, a lot of it for me was on line. So I waited for the ball to be making sure it was missing leg stump before I started to think about sweeping the ball behind or paddle sweeping it here to beat that 45 fielder. The modern player is a little bit different because they like to clear the stumps to be able to access the swing pattern, to be able to go straight or over cover or over mid-wicket. So it's a little bit different now. I think the other thing for me was that, you know, if they're in this 4 metre mark and they're firing the ball into the surface quickly, which the modern spinners do, then that's where you've got all this real estate here to use to your advantage to then turn that ball into either a cut shot or a pull shot off the back foot. I didn't have the power of the modern player, so I had to make sure I could hit the pockets and run hard for 2s and 4s. So that was sort of what I tried to look at, rather than trying to blast 6s. But the modern player, they've got the power to clear the boundary. But the danger is in these conditions, very difficult to do it against high quality spin, particularly when they're alternating between 75 k's an hour to potentially 95 k's an hour, as we've seen in this series.
All right, then there was a masterclass from Salman Ali Agha and a little bit of tips and trades for the trade for us.
Very useful tips in trade, indeed, when you talk about footwork. How important is that, Ramiz? Quick parting thoughts before we go for live picks.
Yeah, so either you go forward or you use the crease, go back. It's as simple as that. So you pick the line of the ball first, and then you decide whether you want to be forward or back to it. And I think he's absolutely right. There's a lot of vacant land inside the popping crease, actually. Players do not use that often because they're so dead set on hitting the ball by launching that front foot and hitting through the line.
All right, thank you so much for your thoughts, gentlemen. And that was a great piece by you, Kat, just in terms of how to tackle spin. I hope the Aussies are also listening to your listening to your expertise. Well, great crowd here in, once again, all 3 T20 internationals for Pakistan versus Australia have been sold out, and the atmosphere has been electric. Great weather as well. So we'll be taking a short breather, and when we do come back, we'll be looking at Pakistan batting first.